Welcome to Contemporary Arts. This lesson is prepared and created by Ms. Raymond Zaira M. Fernandez, a faculty of the Department of Languages and Literature, College of Arts and Sciences, Central Mindanao University. Today, we will tackle about literature. Specifically, we will talk about traditions and forms of Philippine poetry, Spanish colonial tradition, American colonial tradition, contemporary tradition, and forms of contemporary prose in the Philippines. Literature is considered to be a whole bulk of written works. However, another definition of literature means a body of works that show the best that has been thought and said, or works that signify the highest achievements of a particular culture. Contemporary Philippine literature. It has been described as focusing on evoking social consciousness. Creative writing during the martial law era was said to be confrontational and highlighting social and political issues. However, creative writing shifted to a more steady perspective when it comes to social consciousness after the 1986 EDSA revolution. Creative writing also became more organized during the time of EDSA revolution. Academic institutions began offering creative writing as one of their respective undergraduate degree program offerings. Poetry refers to expressing a feeling or an idea using figurative or symbolic language and verse. We will now have the elements of literature, specifically the elements of poetry. These are the following: meaning, figurative language, imagery, sound and rhythm. A writer can use the following in order to express his or her feelings or ideas: technical terms, idioms, dialect, new words, allusion and connotation. Figurative language. This mainly consists of simile, metaphor, and other figures of speech that can be used in order to express something in a different way aside from its literal meaning. Imagery. This consists of descriptions and details that can trigger the reader's senses: sight, hearing, smell, etc. These elements make use of the spoken nature of poetry. Sound can refer to the emphasis on certain words or rhymes. Rhythm is the juxtaposition of beats or the sound pattern of the work. Prose refers to literature that is not poetry. Prose has two categories: informative or persuasive. We also have the following elements of prose: theme or content, style, form and structure, plot or storyline, characters, setting, theme, language and style, point of view. Fiction also has its own elements, which are the following: theme or content. This refers to the general thought or idea of the whole composition. In addition, the motive and the goal of the writer is reflected on the theme. Writing style refers to the choices of words and sentence structures used to convey the message and hold the attention of the readers. Form and structure. The sequence of topic and transitions that make up the whole essay reflects the form. Or it may describe something from the imagination of the artist, such as a short story or a novel. Plot or storyline. The plot is a sequence of events that build up the whole story. This gives the flow of the narrative. We also have characters. A character can be a person, an animal, or even thing who takes part in the narrative of the story. The setting is the time and place in which the story happened. Another one is the theme. This is the central thought or idea of the whole story. Language and style. The style pertains to the choices of words the writer uses. This includes the sentence structures and figurative language that affect the mood or tone of the story. Point of view. This may be presented using the third-person point of view, which means the narrator may represent the author himself or herself. The exposition may also be presented using the first-person point of view, meaning the narrator is one of the characters in the story. This time, we will have the traditions and forms of Philippine poetry. We will tackle a little bit about the different periods of literature and the types of literature present in those period. Ethnic tradition consists of short poems, ancient songs, epic narratives, maxims and proverbs, prayers and invocations and riddles. Can you remember some of our folk songs, or even proverbs, or the famous epics discussed in your literature class? Those are considered as ethnic forms of literature. We also have during the Spanish colonial tradition. The Pasión is written in a stanza with 5 lines and 8 syllables per line. This recounts the life of Jesus Christ. We have Myrtical romance. This focuses on chivalric, folkloric, legendary and religious themes. During the American colonial tradition and contemporary tradition, the literature in this period involves poems using both traditional and modern forms. Some poets constitute to write works reflecting the tradition from the Spanish colonial period, while others began expressing the need to enhance national consciousness and identity. The following are the forms of contemporary prose in the Philippines during that period: folk narrative, myth, legend, and folk tales. We also have essay, novel, short story and comics. In this lesson, we discussed about literature, specifically its types and elements. We also shortly tackled about some important terms that emerged from the different periods and development of the Philippine literature. Finally, we have learned about the forms of contemporary prose in the Philippines. Have you learned something? That is the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching.